should every woman take it seriously?
Yeah, so I'll take your questions in reverse. Every woman should take it seriously
Okay.
because there are 600,000 new cases of cervical cancer a year, 340,000 deaths yearly. It's the second leading cause of cancer death for
Right.
women. Number one is breast. Cervical cancer is next. Um, it's a serious problem in Nigeria. We don't get great records, but we still record about 10,000 deaths every
Mm,
year. So it's a very significant problem. But we first have to talk about what is the cervix. So you have the vaginal opening. When you get to the end of the vagina, you should come to the cervix. Cervix is like the door that leads to the womb. So it's behind is at the end of the vagina, it's the lower part of the womb. And usually it will start as like a precancer, and then it will keep on growing and keep on growing, and we'll talk about why that's significant, I think, moving forward. But cancer of the cervix is just cells that are growing out of control in the cervix. That's how cancer is for every organ.
right. Hmm. This is different to the pap smear thing, right?
No, this is one of the reasons why you do a pap smear. You do pap smear to look for cervical cancer cells, and then there's another test that you also do, which we'll talk about.
Right. Hmm. Okay. But
Called the
why
pap
is
smear for cervical cancer.
right? Why is cervical cancer often called silent killer? That sounds like is it no, 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 high blood pressure is also called silent killer.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so why is this also
Yeah.
called silent killer? What makes it different? Like, do cancers come in grades in terms of the one that kills faster than the other? I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, so if you look at, like, let's say, squamous cell lung cancer, a type of lung cancer, you will have different types, different aggressive types. You may have one that's slow growing or one that's fast growing. For prostate cancer,
Right.
it's similar. So they have a grading scale. They look at the cells under the microscope, and the more distorted they are, the higher the score. So if I have somebody that has a prostate cancer Gleason score of 10, that cancer is going to be more aggressive than somebody that has a Gleason score of 6. And it's all, you can see it under the microscope.
Hmm.
And the other thing to know is that people's immune system is what fights cancer, right? So if you have a better immune system, your cancer may grow slower than somebody else who's stressed all the time, not sleeping, all those kind of things. It's important to know that.
Right.
And as we get into it and we see that most of cervical cancers are caused by a viral infection, some people can be exposed to a virus and the immune system will clear it. And some people are exposed to a virus and the virus will take hold. And that's maybe a discussion for another day.
Wow. You mentioned that if it depends on the immune system, but there are healthy people that we've seen who've also had cancer
Oh,
and passed
definitely.
cancer.
Oh,
So it's not
definitely.
really a function of whether you are healthy or not. It helps, but it's not a
It's not a complete barrier. It's not a complete savior. No. But if you're unhealthy, it's far worse. It's always worse.
right. Right. Okay. So you mentioned cells, breakdown of the cells, one thing, but what exactly is that what causes cancer? Because does anybody even know what causes like the medical association worldwide? Have you guys been able to figure out what actually causes cancer? Sorry,
We
I'm
have
putting you on
some.
the spot because
I
I'm like,
don't. I don't mind. I don't
okay,
mind. So we have some theories which I believe in. As we're talking, even your body is making more skin cells, right?
okay,
And you're making more hair cells, and you're making fingernails, and all of that. Where do they get the blueprint from? It's from DNA. So every cell that's made, they go read the blueprint, the DNA, and start making the components of the cell, and the cell pops. Let's say cell pops out. So if that blueprint gets destroyed or manipulated or damaged, they're going to be copying the wrong thing. And there are codes in our DNA for uncontrolled cell growth. Like sometimes you may need that, maybe at the beginning when you're an embryo, but as an adult, you don't want that. That's what we call cancer, uncontrolled cell growth. Sometimes you can damage DNA where you turn that gene back on. And that's so what damages the DNA. Sometimes it's radiation, could be environmental pollutions, could be because you smoke. and there's free radicals. It could be because of your diet. A lot of those things can damage DNA and further predispose you to cancer. I know that
It
was
just
kind of
sounds like,
deep.
yeah, it sounds like a lot of English. Like it doesn't. Okay, so like, okay, what
things,
is the
things,
what?
things in your environment and things you put in your body damage your DNA. And if it
Okay,
damages it in the right spot, it will turn on cancer. That's the best way to explain it.
and DNA is like the gene thing, the strain, right?
Exactly. The double stranded information to recreate. If you wanted to recreate you, all I need is your DNA, and I can recreate you from that.
Not to like deviate from the topic at hand, even though
Hmm. No
can
problem.
people actually, has anybody been successful in creating a clone of somebody? We see it in movies and series and stuff like that, but
Oh, I'm 100% sure. They've been cloning animals for at least 15 years. The first cloned sheep Dolly was about, I think, about 15 years ago. I'm very sure in some secret lab in China, Russia, or the U.S. they have cloned a human being. I believe so. And now we're into conspiracy theories.
we have a call. Hello, good
Mhm.
morning. Hello, good morning. Women Radio. Hello, cannot hear you. Can you try calling back 07000 917 Those are the numbers to call. You can call our toll free line if you don't have credit, or 800 1235917. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0703 1756 537 or 08155 917 917. We are live on YouTube at WFM 917. You can listen to us on the go, www.wfm917.com. Currently, the time is 14 minutes after 10. And we're talking about cervical cancer, but I sort of like went into cloning and stuff. Sorry, before I get back to cervical cancer, these animals who have been cloned, are they real animals? Can they be eaten?
Yes, they were tested and they were genetically identical to their, where they were cloned from. They looked exactly the same, looked like twins each and every time. At the beginning, they had some issues, but each and every time,
Okay, we have
you
a
know,
call again. Hello, good
they did.
morning. Hello, good morning. Cannot hear
Hello?
you. Please do. Okay, hello, good morning. I think
Hey, somebody.
network is a bit iffy from your area, so please try again to call. Would like to hear what I actually want to hear what you want to say.
Mhm.
Is it
Now I'm interested.
now? Exactly. Like, are you ask? Do you want to call because of this cloning thing? Because Nigerians, I know that we like we can be a superstitious lot where we they
Mhm.
say meji meji lolo won dying and like
Mhm.
things like, oh, I saw somebody passed and I saw the person again, things like that. I don't believe in reincarnation. I know people who do, and I'm just like, but I
I
know
mean,
that
we
I've
have it in our names, Nigerian names, Olatunji. There's so many.
exactly Babatunde and things like that. And
Hmm.
like I know that there have been times where I thought I saw someone that I knew, and I'm like, oh wow, that's an uncanny resemblance. But in terms of cloning, I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to let's get back to it. What is the link between cervical cancer and the HPV, human papillomavirus? What's the is there a link between them?
Yeah, as time as in this last few years, we've really realized that it's a direct link. It's almost 1-to-1. 99% of cervical cancer can be traced back to HPV. So HPV is the human papillomavirus. It's the most commonly sexually
Hello?
transmitted disease in the world, and it can cause genital warts.
Hold on a
But
minute, Dr. Biola. Hello,
Mhm.
good morning. Hello. Oh, network, behave yourself this morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, please go ahead, Dr. Biola.
So it's called so we're talking about the human papillomavirus, HPV virus, and that virus on its own, like I said before, it's the number one sexually transmitted disease in the world. It's the largest in all age groups, especially the young, and on by itself, it causes genital warts. but you don't have to have visible warts to be able to infect somebody. The virus also lives in the skin and bears itself. And you can pass as a male to a female, you can pass that HPV virus to the female, and it can now infect the cervix and cause cervical cancer. It's
Right.
there are about 100 different types of HPV virus, but we know about roughly about 10 of the ones that cause cancer the most. And type 16 and type 18 are the number one and number two. And that's how they make vaccines. But we'll talk about the vaccine, I think, later on. But it's a
Huh.
direct one.
You mentioned that HPV is one of the most is even the most is it important popular sexually transmitted disease. So when I see HPV, some
I don't know if it's popular, but it's the most
common.
prevalent. Yes, it's the most common. Yes.
Because I don't like HPV. When I see HPV, I actually always mix it up with HIV. I just think, oh, they're one and the
Mhm.
same. And I think that's maybe what people think as well, which is why when people hear HPV, they're panicking. As per,
Mhm.
yeah, I have HIV and things like that. But can you explain what HPV is in simple terms? I
Yes,
know you did it, but
very
like,
simple.
yeah.
Very simple. I'll say the name and then human papilloma virus. A human, we know what that is. A papilloma is a wart. So it looks like cauliflower, right? Just
Right.
like, and virus, we know what it is. So it's a viral infection that causes genital warts in men and women, and it has the potential to cause cervical cancer in women as well.
Okay.
And it has no cure. And it has no
It has
cure,
no cure.
just like HIV, no cure. Okay,
Huh.
that's why it's growing so fast.
So you say that HPV is only sexually transmitted, right? Um, so in this day and age, most times I'll give an example. When I was growing, when I before we even started thinking periods, you hear your teachers say things like, "If a boy touches you when you start your period, then you're gonna get pregnant," or if you do this, if you, I mean, all those, yeah, like all those kind of things. But people, all this general ideology that people think that certain diseases are only gotten from promiscuous women. You see that
Mhm.
I did not mention promiscuous men because they don't, in this part, nobody believes that men are promiscuous, but that's a conversation for another day. I'm not even going to get into it. I call myself back, but there's this ideology that it's just promiscuous women. How dangerous is this ideology?
It's extremely dangerous. It has nothing to do with promiscuity. It has everything to do with exposure. So
Yeah.
one sexual act, can infect you with HPV. It doesn't mean, yeah, it's once. When you touch genitals or during sex, or even if it's just during play, you could possibly transmit HPV.
Like, and this is whether you're with a faithful partner, because at the end of the day, you don't know where your partner has been,
Very true. Unless the two of you were virgins before and you virgins each other together at the same time,
and you're
it,
not stepping out on each other.
it's exactly, it's hard, and it's something you can't predict. You can't just look at somebody and say, "Oh, this person was clean."
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. For cervical cancer, it's mainly for women, or is it for men and women? Because it's the cervix, so it's mainly for women, right?
Yes, mainly only
Okay.
for women.
Only for women. So, which group of people are at risk the most when it comes to developing cervical cancer? And is it like maybe if they're obese? You had already mentioned at the beginning, when your immune system is low, there's a higher risk of getting cancer of any form. Not to not even talk of cervical cancer, but what group are at risk the most? Pregnant women, is giving birth, obese, women who are obese, da, da, da. And are there lifestyle factors that increase the risk of getting cervical cancer?
Yeah, women. I said there's no cure for HPV, but you can manage it, right? And
Yeah.
so those that are not managing it, on medication and whatnot, Those that are not managing it, we call that persistent HPV. So those people are more at risk, right? Then
Right.
we talked about weak immunity. So people that have weak immune system, whether it's HIV, whether they're obese, whether they live a sedentary lifestyle, like all of those poor health or unhealthy risk factors can predispose you to it, especially when you get exposed. Then another risk factor is those without screening access. The best way to take care of cervical cancer is to screen for it, is to test for it. And if it's caught early, there's a lot that you can do that's won't even complicate your life. But that's part of the problem. It's very rarely caught early.
Huh. Because even for me, I'm never gonna lie. I think I've done a pap smear once, and that was years ago. And I was not even in Nigeria. I think for me, if I'm going to be honest with myself, is that once it comes to anything health related in Nigeria, I am very, very wary because let it not be that I went in to do a test and I came back with a disease. Because I will trust you people. No offense to you, that's a lot. Like, I just don't think that proper attention is given. And I said this as someone who's been out in and out of the hospital at different points, in my life, and that's why when I know there are young ladies who are very, very they're very pro their health and they do the pap smears and everything. Okay, maybe I should go and follow. Maybe Dr. Bella will give us free pap smears like this now as we're talking. Let's just
Wait,
let's be
wait,
hopeful.
listen to the end and find out.
Let's be hopeful. Let's because I'm gonna go. Let's be hopeful. Let's be
Listen to
hopeful.
the end. Listen to the end and find out.
Let's be hopeful. Um, when we talked about prostate cancer a while
Mhm.
back, we had said that you have mentioned that it is men who are in their is it early 40s, older men that get it. Is that the same stat for women? Like, is it or is it does it matter your age as a woman with regards to cervical cancer?
Yeah, normally you start seeing it in your, you're exposed to HPV, the virus, in your teens and 20s. That's usually
Okay.
how it happens. And most sexually, now it's so prevalent that um, most sexually active adults will get exposed. Your immune system clears it naturally, but there are some persistent ones, and those ones develop cervical cancer. Give me 1 second so I can
Okay.
mute my.
Hmm.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Is it possible, just to go back to HPV again, is it
Sure.
possible for someone to have HPV and not know that they have HPV?
That's I would say that's probably the largest basis for why it's being passed so frequently. Remember, I said that it causes genital warts, but
Yeah.
the genital warts don't have to be out for you to be able to pass it. So that's typically how it's passed. Person doesn't may not even know that they're infected now, have unprotected sex with another partner, and just keep passing it. Now that partner can pass it to another partner, and the tentacles now go.
Also, this